So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. And now, for the review of the day. Meat and Potatoes, 5 stars by Ben Incuse. Ben Incuse says, I've listened to Pat consistently for the past 2 years and love how he digs out the meat and potatoes from his guests. When the guests casually say something intriguing, Pat makes sure they dig deeper and help us all understand the value of what he just said. This podcast has definitely helped me and my team grow. 5 stars. Thank you, Ben. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast. So give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening. All right, rock stars, we got a great guest today coming out of Bakersfield, California. Mr. Alex Daredia is on the line, and we are going to get into some really good stuff. So get your paper and pencil ready. Alex, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Pat, thank you so much for having me here. Super excited. This is like a dream come true. Like we were saying earlier, you know, I've been listening to you since day one, and man, I've learned so much. Thank you for everything that you do.
Hey, you're welcome. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Would you say you've listened to all, you know, we've had 700 some episodes. Do you think you've listened to all of them?
Actually, honestly, no, I haven't, but I've been listening to every single one for the last 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just in one a day for the last 18 months.
Yes. Yeah. So I go work out every morning, and when I'm running or doing my 45-minute, workout at the gym, I kick it on. And, I hear your interviews and every other day, and it's been ongoing ever since, because there's so much to learn out there, and there's so much that you offer and the agents that you bring on to the show that offer. And I mean, it's so much learning opportunity.
What do you think you like the best, Alex? Like, what do you get most of where you're like, oh yeah, that's the best part of the show? I'm just curious, actually.
That's the best part of the show? The amount of money, the potential, right? I mean, I've heard people say that I've done 20 transactions and make $10 million, but then I've also heard people say they make 50 transactions and they make $10 million. So it's all a numbers game, and the sky's the limit. And that excites me a lot.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about real estate. Now, I saw this big debate online. It was kind of funny. It was a high-end agent who only sold houses like really, really high. And he was debating with a bunch of other agents about whether his work was any different than their work and why he would get paid, say, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per transaction, and they'd be making $3,000 per transaction. And it was an interesting debate to watch. I won't get into it now, but it was fascinating to see these other agents were essentially attacking him, saying he didn't do any more work than them. And it was very entertaining. But anyways, let's get into some nitty gritty with you, Alex. How many houses have you sold in the last 12 months?
Last 12 months, I just ran my numbers this morning. I thought I was at 42, but I am at 47. I just spoke to the broker. 47 sales, close to $11 million, and 60-40, 60 listings, 40% buyers.
There's a guy that knows his numbers. And how long have you been in the business?
Man, I started June of last year. And so I guess you could say 18 months.
Wow. So 18 months. Listen, so 18 months, you jump in, you start listening to Real Estate Rockstars. This is a great testimonial. And then you sold 47 houses in the last 12 months. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers for you. Like, what was your ego commission income? What's your gross right now?
Looking at a little over 225.
Okay, and then what's your profit margin?
85%.
So you only spend do you pay your broker 15%, or is that like all expenses?
That's all expenses.
Everything.
If I throw the broker in there, we're looking at over 230.
Say it again.
If I throw the broker numbers in there, then we're looking at 230.
Oh, so you've already taken out the broker.
I already took the broker out, and then there's 225.
Yeah, you don't pay. What brokerage are you at?
I'm at Infinity Real Estate, so I have a 90-10 split with my broker, because the production's so high. So I negotiated that number out there with him, Okay. And my cap is same as every other agent in the office. So once I reach that cap, it's 100%.
Oh, right? Okay. So what's the cap? Yeah. How much you got to pay?
$12,000.
Oh, that's it. So basically, you pay $12,000. So yeah, so 225 plus 12 is 237. So you're looking at that, and then you make 85% of 225, which is really like roughly 80% or something of that. So you're still pulling, $180, $190 a year, right? Tax return. Yeah,
it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, and is it do you do it all yourself? Like, do you have a team, or is it just
no?
I don't have to build a team, but
no, 100% single agent. It's 100% single agent, no buyer agent, no listing agent, no assistant. I have a TC. We pay her $424. So 200 is like file management, and the rest is her fees and errors and omissions. And I love her to death. I mean, it's like credit goes to her, to be honest.
And that's she works for Infinity.
She works for Infinity, yeah.
Got it. And then you just pay her $424 per transaction. You can decide to use her or not. But essentially, you're the man. I mean, you're doing 4 or 5 deals a month, every month, by yourself,
right,
out of nowhere. How old are you?
I'm 30.
All right, 30 years old. So take me back. Like, what did you do before real estate?
So before real estate, actually, so to be honest, I got a degree in HR from Cal State Bakersfield. And when I went to go apply for jobs, I didn't get hired anywhere in town. And I told myself, why is that, right? I mean, I've been to so many interviews. I know how to interview now. And come to find out, the turnover rate on HR is really, really low. You either die in HR or you retire. And I'm like, I'm not waiting for these people to die, and I'm not going to wait for these people to retire. So I jumped into banking as a teller. And then from teller, I mean, it was all sales-based. I didn't know it was sales-based, but it was all sales-based. So teller, then I turned into a business teller, a personal banker, and a business banker, a loan officer, home mortgage, HELOCs. And then I asked my manager for a promotion, and she says we're having cutbacks, so no promotion, off the table. So I went home, talked to the wife. I told her, I can't do this. There's no room to grow. I mean, I got to grow. And she's like, well, you love real estate. Why don't you do that? And I always been skeptical to jump into real estate, mainly because it's a commission-based industry. You don't have your 401k. You don't have your salary. You don't have your benefits, that whole 9 yards, And so I quit my job, got my license, went to 3 different brokerages, signed up with Lee Barrison, and here I am today.
That's awesome. And so when you left the job a year and a half ago at the bank, how much money were you making?
I was 42 top.
42?
Top.
So now you're making 180 from 42. I mean, did you ever think you would get that sort of raise?
It's not possible. Even as an HR, the top you would make is $75,000 a year.
Wow. Okay, so now let's, because everybody now is like, well, how the hell did Alex do this? Like, take to me. Why don't you just do this? Why don't you take me like a third grader can understand? Because we're only talking 18 months, so we're not talking like, years and years of transactions and experiences and stuff. So, like, what did you do on the first day? How long did it take for you to sell your first house?
Took me 60 days. So I started, and then I went, I walked around the entire office. So when I started, there was about 40 agents in the office. And, I asked each one of them, hey, what do you do? And they're like, I do this. Or I make calls. And then, what do you specialize? I specialize in open houses. So I went to each one of them and I picked up a little from everybody, right? And then from Monday to Saturday, I made phone calls every single day, 8 hours a day. I mean, I'm calling expires. I'm calling for sale by owners. I'm calling just sold nonstop. I mean, the only breaks I'm taking is like to grab a bite for like 20 minutes. I'm back on the phone, right? 5 p.m. hits. I mean, I'm drained. I go home, crash, come back next morning, role play, back on the phone. And I just kept on doing it. And then I worked at the bank. So I had a friend there who was working in mortgage. And I told him, I was like, look, man, if you pre-qualify any buyer, give me a call. I will put them in escrow in a heartbeat. Like, I promise you that. And he says, you know what? Here you go. I just pre-qualified a buyer. And here you just came in the right time. They just left. Call them, and they're super easy to work with. So I call that buyer, and they're like, no, we have an appointment. We already have an agent. We're working with somebody. So I told them, look, I know you have an agent. You're already working with somebody. I hope everything works out for you. But just in case, for some odd reason, that agent is not available, give me a call. I'll make it happen for you. They give me a call 3 days later. We've been calling our agent for like last 24 hours. This house just hit the market. He's nowhere to be found. Can you show it to us? Showed it to them. They didn't like it. Showed them another house. They didn't like it. And showed them another house. They fell in love with it. And that's how I got my first check.
That's awesome.
So 67 days later.
That's awesome. Okay. And then, since then, how are you selling 5 houses a month or so now? What are you doing now to get business?
Same thing. I'm still calling every day, nonstop. So after that sale happened, I took the file and I walked it over to my broker. I'm like, here's the contract. What do I do? And you know what my broker tells me? He says, you take this file, walk it into the TC room, and you're done with it. She will take care of everything. You just go hand over the keys. And I was like, that's it? And he's like, that's it. So he says, jump back on the phone. So I jumped back on the phone, started calling just sold, like, hey, we just sold a house on 123 Banana Street. Would you like to find out the value of your home, or have you ever considered selling? No. And this one lady's like, yeah, I want to sell and I want to move to Utah, and I was like, say that again. You want to sell? She's like, yeah, I want to sell. Can you come over? And I was like, yeah, I'll come over right now. So we set the appointment. We go over, we get our house listed, and we listed at 7%, right? And my first listing at 7%, put a sign in the front yard. 2 days later, I get a sign call saying, hey, I'm interested in this property. Can you show it to me? I was like, sure, why not? Drive to the property, show it. He's like, I'll take it. And so I sold it to him, double-ended my very first listing. And ever since, I saw the benefit of having a listing. So I've just been chasing listings.
Yes. Okay. So I want to talk to you about that because, a lot of the way the world works now in real estate is you wouldn't have gotten that call, right? They would have been on Zillow. They would have seen it online first, and then they would have, it was another agent who paid for advertising would have popped up and they would have shown them. And like, how did you get that person to call your cell phone?
I think what it is, Pat, people don't answer their cell phones, you got to, we live in a 24/7 world. I'm sure he called other people. I'm sure he had agents in the business, or he knows people that are in the business. It's about answering your phone and making yourself available for that client, right? And I've always answered my phone. I mean,
you had your cell, I guess you had your cell on your sign, right?
Yeah, of course. I had my cell phone on my sign. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and he picked right up. Okay, and that's an awesome story too. I love that. And then, all right, and is that your protocol now? Just sold? Is that your favorite versus expired versus FSBOs? Versus
it is my favorite. Yeah, 100%. It is my favorite. Expires. I have few pillars of business. I just don't sit on expires, or I don't just sit on just sold. I like to pursue all avenues. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like what else? Yeah. What are your other avenues?
So we got just sold, we got expires, we got for rent by owners. So I call the investors up. I tell them, look, your house is up for rent. What happened with the previous tenants? Oh, they trashed the property, and it's been a headache. Okay, are you looking for new tenants? They're like, yeah, we're looking for new tenants. I was like, okay, fair enough. You thought about selling it? And they're like, yeah, we think about selling it every now and then. It's just that we live all the way in San Luis, and our house is in Bakersfield, and we just don't have the time to go down there and do all the legwork. So, all right, well, I'll do all the legwork. What's the problem? They're like, okay, well, if you want to do all the legwork, let's sell it. And I got like 4 clients like that this year, believe it or not.
Really, 4 rent by owners.
Yeah. I mean, what I provide for investors is that Bakersfield is such a great city to invest, right? Because the cost of living is affordable. An average price per house is about $225,000. So compared to LA, where it's $500,000, and compared to Bay Area, where it's $1 million, we're like pocket change, So all these people are investing money in Bakersfield, but they don't have anybody to maintain their property or clean it up once they want to sell it. So what I decided to do was I decided to offer them an extra level of service. I'll go in, I'll clean up the house, I'll get the carpet washed, I'll get the paint job done, and we'll get it on the market for you. They're like, you'll do all that? I'm like, yeah, I'll do all that, no problem. And they sign the listing, we get to work, we get it on the market and get it sold for them.
Why waste thousands of dollars and countless hours on training that never touches on what matters most? How to make more money in real estate. For just $7, you can start a 1-week trial at Rebus University today. And what that means is $13,000 worth of real estate courses on how to make more commissions will be available to you for $1 a day. It's all you can eat. Go in there and take them all if you can. Only $7. To start your 7-day all-access free trial, go to futureofrealestatetraining.com. These courses are guaranteed to get you more listings, more leads, and more commissions. Futureofrealestatetraining.com, or just text the word trial to 444-999. That's TRIAL to 444-999. I love that. Okay, so take me through the just sold in specifics. Are you calling around only Infinity Real Estate just sold, or any house that just sold?
No, every morning I come into the office, hop onto the MLS, go right under sold section, find a house, I circle like a quarter mile around it, turn the dialer on, and we're rock and rolling.
So is these houses that settled or houses that just dropped pending?
Just dropped. They have settled. They've sold.
They're settled.
They're gone.
So they went to settlement. Today's Wednesday.
Right.
They went to settlement on Tuesday. You draw a circle around it on the computer, and so what tools are you using?
So what I'm using is we have Mojo Dialer, right? And then they give me the numbers for all the neighbors. Then we have RedX for all the expires and for rent by owners. And we have Boomtown. That's something we run our ad campaign on from the brokerage.
Okay. And so let's just run through the script real quick. So you call me, right? Go ahead.
So ring.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Hyben. Good morning. This is Alex with Infinity Real Estate. I just want to reach out and let you know that we just sold one of your neighbors' home down the street for a little over asking price in less than 2 weeks. So the good news is when that happens, 2 or 3 more sales right away. I just want to check in with you. Did you plan on making the move?
And I guess you're trying to say right away sell, and it doesn't matter that it wasn't really you, but you just say we sold, like your agent community sold.
Yeah, agent community sold.
Okay. Yeah, not really at this time, Alex.
Oh, that's great, and that's completely understandable. So, if you were to move, hypothetically speaking, where would you move to?
I'd go back to Tennessee. That's where my family's at.
Tennessee, huh? So how long have you been living in Bakersfield?
6 years now.
6 years. That's quite some time. It's a fact. I was reading the other day in Wall Street Journal where an average homeowner lives in their home about 5 to 6 years. So I guess it's about time for you to pack up and get the ball rolling to Tennessee, isn't it?
You're funny, but yeah, no, right now I got some, things. I got a girlfriend here and, she's got a really good job and it's just probably, it's just not the right time.
Right, right. No, I mean, it's there's always life's happening. So I just want to let you know that the property we sold went for 248. They were asking 239. They did not pay any closing costs, so it is a seller's market, and sellers in your area are getting 99% or more of their asking price. Did you know that?
No, I knew it was, market had picked back up, but I didn't know it was that crazy.
Yeah, it is wild, believe it or not. And you know what? That house had multiple offers. So what that means is that only one offer was accepted, right? There were four other buyers that were bidding on that house and they didn't get it. So if we were to get your house on the market and sell it within the next 45 days, would that be a problem for you?
Oh, you mean with those four other buyers?
Yeah, or somebody else.
Hmm. Well, like I wouldn't know where to go.
Well, look, we can find you a replacement home in Tennessee or better yet, in Bakersfield. I mean, have you ever thought about upgrading or downsizing your current home?
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, I appreciate your persistence, but why don't you check back with me in a couple months?
All right, tell you what I'll do is, what is your email address?
Yeah, Fred at fredsanfordandson.com.
Right. Okay. So it's Fred at fredsanford@sons.com. So what I'll do is I'll shoot out an email with my personal contact information. So if you want to reach out to me sooner than that, feel free to reach out. And what I'll also do is I'll be reaching out to you from time to time, checking in with you. And if anything changes, we'll sit down, do some business, and probably break some bread. How's that?
Sounds good, Alex.
All right, Pat. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Now, a couple of things there. I noticed, I used to say, do you know anybody else that might be thinking about selling?
Right. Yeah. I've done that. I do that. It depends on the conversation, the way it's flowing.
Yeah, because I always found they're like, well, don't tell them, but the Rileys are getting a divorce. Don't tell them I told you, or
yeah.
the people do really try to help you out. But okay, so now you get the email. So now what happens? How are you going to follow up with me?
So I send them an email, with all the links on the bottom, like Facebook links, Zillow links, LinkedIn links. And I just say, hey, thank you so much for your time. It was very nice talking to you. I look forward to meeting with you, eventually one of these days. I also send them a thank you card for people that I had a good conversation with, Tell them, hey, here's some of my business cards. If you need something, feel free to reach out. More than happy to assist you, It does not have to be you don't have to call me only if you want to sell your house. I mean, give me a call if you want a 6-pack of beer. I'll be more than happy to bring it by. Right? Just keep it real friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mail them a thank you card.
Yeah.
And then you email them?
Send them an email.
Yeah.
I send them an email also. Send them a thank you card, right? So email gets there right away. Thank you card gets there 2 or 3 days later, right? And then I give them a call a week and a half, 2 weeks later and tell them, Pat, hey, I was just checking in with you. I know you don't want to sell right now. You told me to give you a call back in a few weeks, but I just want to make sure that you got that email I sent you over with my contact info. And I want to make sure you also got that thank you card that I sent out. Right? So you're just building rapport and you're connecting with them on levels. That's it.
And then how are you keeping track of all these people?
So the Mojo Dialer also has a database, right, where I have them on reoccurring. And after 45, 30 days, depending on the talk we had, it pops up on my screen. Hey, this is the conversation you had with Pat. Give him a call on this day. This is how many kids he has. This is where he wants to move. He's getting a divorce, or he's not getting a divorce. He's getting married, or so on and so forth. That little life story they have.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, and so how many hours do you call a day? What times do you call, and how many hours and how many days?
So I have a set schedule. So I mean, working in the bank, we had that schedule, right, 9 to 5, and that kind of mentality stuck to me. And my broker said the same thing, that you have to have a schedule in place because you're like your own boss. You could go wherever you want, whenever you want. But if you do that, you won't be as successful as you want to be. But if you have a schedule and you stick to that schedule day in, day out, you will be successful, So 8:30 at the office, no matter what. From 8:30 to 9, we role play with other agents in the office. And after 9 to 12, I'm we're dialing nonstop. You know, I mean, I've even told my TC, if please don't come bother me till noon. Call me after 12:30 or 12. You know, so nobody comes into the office till noon, and then we take lunch from 12 to 12:30, and then from 12:30 to 1:30, I'm in the TC's office, signing off paperwork or connecting with her, see if she needs anything, and then after 1:30, if I don't have any appointments to go to or anybody to meet, back on the phone, calling expires or just sold.
That's awesome. And then, and you're using a landline or your cell phone?
I'm using my cell phone. It connects. So Mojo Dialer says gives you a number, right? You dial
what
into
if
that
people
number.
are like calling you back and texting you? Are there distractions? And how do you not be distracted, or do you just let yourself get distracted? How's that work?
No, I mean, you know, so I no social media. So all my notifications are turned off on my cell phone. You know, no social media, no phone calls, no text messages, nothing pops up within that time frame. If I'm dialing and like I see a number, because I'm trying to keep an eye on the numbers that are on my screen, right? Like let's say the number is 589 and I see that call coming back, 589. I put it on pause real quick and I talk to him. I'm like, yeah, I just reached out to you because we had just sold a property. Wanted to quickly check in, you know, if you had any interest in finding out the values of your home, ever consider selling it, you know? And then it either goes one way or the other. They're like, no, or, you know, get out of here. Or yeah, I'm interested.
They wouldn't be calling you back. I mean, are you leaving messages or are you just hanging up?
Yeah. No, I'm leaving messages. Yeah.
And what's your message sound like?
So, hey, this is Alex with Infinity Real Estate. I just want to reach out to you and let you know that we just sold a property in the neighborhood, a little over asking price. Give me a call back if you're considering finding out the values of your home or if you have any questions about the market.
So if they're calling you back, then
there's a reason.
They've already pre-qualified themselves a little bit by calling you back.
Right. There is a reason why they're calling you back. I mean, they might be upset, or sometimes they're just calling back to tell you that, hey, do not call me back. You know, part of the game.
Well, the interesting thing is a lot of people now are like, look, if the phone number is not in my Rolodex, right? It's not in my phone book. If I don't recognize it, I don't pick it up. And you're kind of the opposite. You call so many people that you just pick up whatever. You know, nothing scares you, right? Because it could be a buyer, could be a seller, whatever. You know. Right.
So I have about 14, 15 signs out in the city right now, right? For sale signs with my names on it and my number. Anybody could be calling one of those signs. Or if you're the listing agent on a property, you're the number one agent on Zillow, right? So somebody could be calling you because of that. Who knows? Who knows why somebody's calling you? So I take every call that's incoming.
Yeah, no sense in being scared, right? If it's worst case, if it's a lot of people are like, oh, it's a telemarketer. Well, so what, right? You just good sales pitch. I like your sales pitch. Yeah. Not interested, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, if it's a telemarketer calling, I play the role with them. I play a customer role with them. Because the funny thing is, you learn a thing or two from them, and you can implement it in your business, right? So why not?
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's switch to technology. What technology are you excited about? What phone apps, that sort of thing?
So honestly, I'm keeping it very basic. I'm actually listening to your podcast to find the technology that will blow me away, but I haven't really come across anything. So you know, we have your social media apps. I have my. There's just one app I downloaded. It's called Schedules, where it allows me to schedule text messages that needs to be sent out on certain days. So, like, let's say you call me today, and I tell you, oh, you know what? I'll text you a day before our appointment. So I go in and I plug in that message. Hey, Mr. Hyben, I just want to confirm our appointment on the 15th for 1 p.m. And it reminds me a day before, so I just sent it out.
That's awesome. And so it's kind of like that social media app, whatever it is, it does social media posts for you, but it just does. But this does text for you, so it just sends out the text. Yeah.
It was $1.99, but man, I have a tendency to forget.
$199 for it?
No, $1.99.
Well, you know, the cool thing is for that is because like when you say that to somebody, you have to write it down and remember to do it, right? But if you're able to do it right there and then set it up so that it just happens, it's top of mind, right? It's like it's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it pops up. If you ignore that message, if you ignore that message, 100%, you're going to miss out. 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it pops up. There's, if you ignore that message, if you ignore that message, 100%, you're going to miss out. 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it pops up. There's, if you you're basically ignoring your system. You shouldn't ignore your system. You should not ignore that message because you planned it. It's technology there to help you, not ruin you. So I would take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. What
Right.
what in the short 18 months you've been doing this, like what's one failure that you've had that you've learned from?
Don't show yourself off to these sellers. You know, that's one thing I've learned. Because, you know, you go in there and you tell them, oh, I've done this much sales, this many sales, this, that, this. They think what you're doing is what everybody else is doing. They don't know how broken the industry is, right? Instead, what I do is I tell them that this is what we're going to do for you. This is what we're going to do for you. And this is how many days it's going to take. This is when we should lower the price, you know, and what value we provide. We're available for you. You don't have to jump through an assistant. You know, you can reach out to me whenever you like, stuff like that. So, yeah, so what I prepared is called, we have this 19-step marketing plan. I send it over to you. And
Yeah,
I go over that
do.
with, we go over that with my seller, and we tell them that, look, if I don't do any one of these things, you have the right to fire me, all right? If you can fire me, we cancel the listing, you can go hire a new agent. So it's like an accountability with the seller. Like they are the employer, right? They have employed you. So why not give them that authority?
Plenty of people make a decent living selling real estate, but how many manage to make millions to become a millionaire? Imagine how much more profitable your business would be if you had the chance to learn from someone who actually made their millions selling real estate. Rebus University instructors know what it takes to build a highly successful, highly lucrative real estate business because they've done exactly that. These self-made real estate millionaires spent years in the trenches, identifying exactly what works in today's markets. And that's exactly what they teach. Right now, we're running a 7-day trial on Rebus University's All Access package. For just $7, you can get access to every course. Every millionaire real estate instructor, there's over 40 of them. 40 millionaire real estate instructors that Rebus University has to offer. You have access to all of them. To start your 7-day free trial for only $7, go to futureofrealestatetraining.com. That's futureofrealestatetraining.com, or text trial, TRIAL, to 444-999. That's trial to 444-999. Hey, real estate agents and rock stars. If you're getting value out of the content in this episode, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the little bell icon to be notified about upcoming episodes. And I would also love it if you left a comment and shared the most impactful tips and tactics you've learned from the knowledge shared in this episode, or even maybe make a suggestion requesting a topic of what you'd like to learn in future episodes. I welcome any feedback below. Now, back to the episode. Yeah, I love it. So you're kind of putting your money where your mouth is and saying, here are the 19 things. And guys, I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that in Alex's show notes so you guys could see it up front.
Yeah, and I go in, you know, the other thing I don't like is people charge 4, 5, 3.5% commission. I don't understand why they do that. You know, I mean, I go in and I promise them moon and stars, right? And I do everything I can in my power to deliver that. And I charge them 6, maybe even 7% sometimes, right? Depending on what we have to do for these clients. And these people have no issues in paying you your commission if they see the value in you. You just have to show them the value, right? And it works out in everybody's best interest.
Yeah, and the value is not like, look at me, I'm a big shot. You know, look how
never.
rich I am and look what I've done. The value is here's the work that I'm going to perform. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Right. I mean, you know, you give them something, right? Hey, because their concern is, oh, I'm signing this 20-page listing agreement. They're not reading that. They're going by what you're saying. Like, let's be honest, right? So I broken it down for them, and I told them, look, you signed this, I signed this, you hold on to it. You want to cancel? If I'm not doing my job, give me a call. I'll cancel. No problem. You know, and we do everything we can to exceed our sellers' expectations so we can get future business and referrals from them.
Yeah. So you have a background in banking, obviously. You know finances. You got a great head on
Yeah.
your shoulders for business. What are you doing with the money that you're making? Are you in?
So I actually just bought a rental. I actually have two rentals. I just bought a third one. I bought it cash, and we're gonna be renting it out soon. So it's gonna be a write off. It's gonna be a great write off. First
What
of all,
so like how much was it?
it was $70,000. I poured like 24,000 into it, so it'd be like right under 100.
And then what are you gonna rent it out?
1250.
1250. Okay, those work. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should refinance it and take a loan back on it while the rates are low.
Right. Well, I mean, if I sell it right now, I would literally double.
Yeah.
Because the
And
ARV
how'd
on
you
that
run
is
across that?
75. It was a referral, believe it or not. So my wife works at the library, and I've done home buying seminars at the library. It's something I really recommend people to do. We picked up 3 clients from that, and I was doing a home buying seminar, and then the branch manager calls me. She's like, "Hey, Alex, how are you?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm great. How are you?" She's like, "Hey, I have a coworker that's just retiring, and she's moving out of state. Do you think you can help her out selling her home?" And I mean, the house was built in 1954. She has not done a single thing to the house. She lived in it since day one. Original carpet, original paint, wall heater where you pour gasoline into it. I mean, it was a traditional home. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the cabinets are metal, believe it or not. They're not even wood cabinets. So it's crazy. I went over, I told her, your house is trash. I mean, I get you no money for it, And she's like, well, just you buy it, take it as is. And I was like, how much you want for it? And she's like, pay me 90, 75, 80. And I was like, I'll pay you 75, And she's like, okay, let's do it. So we ended up going to 70, and then we wrapped it up.
That's awesome. Well, that's a good story. Yeah, and as real estate agents, we see that stuff comes along, and I think as agents we need to be more opportunistic in that and say yes to those things. And I know one of your goals is to buy one house a year, right?
Yeah, buy one property a year. That's always been my goal. I say to myself every morning that, one investment every year, or my income goal is this much every year, and it's, I guess, permission, I guess you can say that.
You say that every morning?
Every morning, in my car, in the shower, whatever you want to call it, that's why not? I mean, if you ask
for it. Do you have a list of affirmations, or is it just that one?
No, I do. So it says, have multiple streams of income, 75 deals in 2019. Average income should be 150 to 200 minimum, and I bumped it up to 2 investment property every year instead of 1.
I love that. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and your dollar cost averaging. People ask me if there's like one business error that I made. I'm 53, and over my 30 years in the biz, and I would say it's not dollar cost averaging a house a year. I bought a ton of houses, and I own commercial properties and things, but if I look back, I wish I had just bought, especially like at certain times, like through the 90s where nothing appreciated or depreciated, just was so flat. Just buy a house a year. Just buy a house. You can't go wrong.
Why not?
Right?
Buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold.
Yeah, buy and hold. So I want to talk to you about the library and the home buyer seminar. So teach us how to do that.
Well, I mean, so my wife, libraries are like basically dying industry, I feel like, because everything's available on Google, right? So I'm sitting there at that dinner table, and I'm talking to my wife. I was like, so what do you do at work all day, right? Because I'm always talking real estate. And one of these days, I'm like, tell me about your work. What do you do?
Yeah, smart man. So it's too bad it took you so long, but go ahead.
So I'm talking to her. She said, oh, we had this animal people come in, teach the kids about animals.
That should be an affirmation, by the way. Don't ever let her see it, but let the affirmation be that you ask her about her day before she asks you about yours.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Dude, yeah, you'll stay married forever.
Right. So
go ahead. Sorry.
So I talked to her, and she's like, you know what? So we have all these groups come in, and they teach kids and parents. We have English speaking courses for people that don't speak English, and all kind of courses like that. And I was like, why don't we do a home buying seminar? Why don't we do a home buying course for the people that come to your library, right? And it's free advertising, right? I just give them flyers. They put it on their front counter, or they pass it out to every client that walks into their library. And when we do seminars, like 10 or 15 people show up, that's a lot of people for a home buying seminar, you know? And one turns, two turns, and it's, why not? And I cut them a little donation check also.
You cut a donation check to the library.
Yeah. Right. So if the properties are like, if I get a transaction that's $300,000 from it, I give them a $300 check. Like, hey, thank you so much for, for the books or whatever.
So, okay. So what do you say? What do you do? Do you have a lender with you? Like, break it down.
Yeah. So I take a lender with me, and I basically start out saying, I introduce myself, my name is Alex. I'm here with so-and-so, and you guys are obviously here because you plan to buy a property, right? And I want this to be an open-ended. I don't want to be the only one talking. I want you guys to be talking. So out of show of hands, I want you to tell me how many people have already owned a house or buying a house for the first time. So I get them interacted right away. And then I tell them, look, the people want to go look at houses right away from the minute they see me, but we can't do that. That's not the first step. The first step is the lending. So I'm going to let the lender take over, tell them how lending works, and then I'll chime in from time to time and tell you where we come in, and we just go hand in hand and we walk the clients through the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's so simple, right?
Yeah,
and it doesn't cost you anything, right? I mean, because the lender's like, yeah, I'll do it with you. So that's free. You print it out on a Xerox machine or whatever, home buying seminar, that's pretty much free, $5, $10. Yeah, so you go there and it doesn't work a couple of times. So what? You haven't lost anything. So like what days and what times are ideal for this?
So we do Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30. Yeah, because people get off of work. We go in at 5:30. We hang out for 30 minutes. We greet everyone that's coming through. We'll make them feel comfortable because it's awkward, right? They're nervous as heck. I mean, and it's like, no, we don't know them, so it's kind of awkward. So we make them feel they're like, they know we know each other, stuff like that. And we start at 6. We joke around for a bit, and then we get into business. And then by 7:15, we wrap it up. And then we have a one-on-one with the people that are really interested and they want to set up an appointment or have a few questions, like personal income questions or personal credit questions that they don't want to shout out in the group setting, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I love that,
right.
Dude. I love that. And you've got certain things that you do and you do them well and you do them consistently. And that's why you're, 47 houses a year, first year in the business or second year in the business. I mean, it's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. You're organized, you're professional, when somebody told you, your broker or whoever told you, this is what you do, you were used to that because of working in the bank and working for other people, making 42 grand a year. You were used to doing what you were told. So you went and did what you're told, and guess what happened? It worked.
Right. It works. I also want to share something with the people that, you have to go find yourself like strong partners, like you have to go find a strong lender. Set your expectations with these lenders. You tell them, like, when I call you, I'm not calling you to chit chat. I'm calling you because I have a question. So answer my phone, I'm not going to call you like at 8 o'clock at night, obviously, because I know you're with family. But if I'm calling you at 3 in the afternoon, please answer your phone. Because if you don't, I'm calling a different lender, right? Because I have a client with me, they have a question, and I don't want to say the number that you can't honor. So I want to bring you on the phone so they can listen to that, Then you have lawyers, you got probate attorneys, you got alarm company, you got your gardener, what else? And then I wrote down your insurance brokers and your lawyers, right? You partner with all these people.
You stay friends with and you keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, the lawyers are the hardest to work with because you got that gatekeeper that you can't come across, And
what are you doing? You're calling them, you're cold calling them, and just what do you talk to me? Why'd you bring all those people up?
So I call the lawyers and I tell them, Mr. Lawyer, I want to talk to so-and-so lawyer. And they're like, well, so-and-so lawyer's in the meeting. All right, okay, fair enough. I'll call you back in 2 hours. Oh, they're still in meeting. I was like, okay, look, are they really in the meeting or they don't want to talk? I just confront the gatekeeper. And she's like, honestly, they're avoiding you. I was like, fair enough, no problem. They're avoiding me, fair enough. So what I do is I go find them a client, right? I go find them a client. And I walk into their office with the client. I mean, they're not going to say no to business, right?
Yeah. So like a personal injury lawyer, or what type of lawyer are you looking for?
Divorce attorneys, probate attorneys. Those are the two. Those are the two main ones.
So you're like someone's getting divorced and say, I got an attorney for you. And,
yeah, heck yeah.
And by instead of just referring the name, you walk in there.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're there or not, right?
No, I mean, I call in before they're there, right? I'm like, hey, I want to schedule an appointment with so-and-so lawyer. And they're like, what's this in regards? And I'm like, I don't know. My friend's getting a divorce. I want to meet him. And they're like, what's your friend's name? I was like, is he available at this time or not? And then they're like, oh, yeah, he's available. I was like, okay, I'll see you then at 2 p.m. And we go in because they don't, the gatekeeper's just doing their job. It's not their fault, right? So, but they're not going to turn down new business because if they do, the boss is going to fire them, right? So I walk in with the client and I introduce the client. I tell the lawyer, Mr. Lawyer, this is my client going through a divorce. They're like family. Please take good care of them. I'll check in with you at a later time. And I just meet, right? And after that meeting's done, I go back in there next day and I say, I want to talk to so-and-so lawyer. I want to recap on my client, right? And that's how you start building rapport. And then it's like they know who you are.
Yeah, right. And you've met them twice.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, dude. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
That's a great little strategy.
And then your insurance broker and stuff like that. Same concept. If you can't get a hold of them, bring in business because you're always asking. Because that's what they think of real estate agents, right? That they're always asking for business.
Do you ever say anything like, I expect you to give me some referrals, or do you just kind of leave it like that?
No, I mean, not the first 2 times that I'm meeting him, right? But, the third time I just say, hey, I was just calling to say hi. Do you know of anybody that's, looking to do a real estate transaction? They're like, you know what? No, we don't. I was like, look, here's a few of my business cards. Call me if you need anything, right? And I just leave it behind and I leave it at that. And then I send them, last year, I send them little gifts, with thank you cards and like Christmas cards. And you just keep in touch and it pays off.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Well, this has been awesome, Alex. And, you're rich in so many ways and you're going to be richer in so many ways. I can see by just keep on doing what you're doing. This has been awesome, dude. So what is your free gift? I know you mentioned the 19-point plan and you're going to send us over that. And you mentioned before you had 3 free gifts, right?
Right. I mean, so I wanted to provide value, right? I see if I'm able to do this, I think everybody should be able to do this. So I thought it's you give out and it's just the world just pays you back. So we had this 19-step marketing plan that I recommend everybody to take to their listing appointments, and tell your sellers that, hey, if I don't do this, fire me. I promise you're doing 90% of those things. You just don't realize it, The second one is a schedule. Like I have my schedule printed out. I wrote down whatever I'm doing for that hour or that time block, and then I try to stick to it as much as possible. It helps, if you have it in writing right in front of your face all day, every day, you're going to learn to stick to it, And the third thing I added was a pamphlet. It's a trifold that I use for all my investor clients. We tell them the level of service we provide, like professional photography. I mean, you can take that on your listing appointment also. So professional photography, cleanup, construction crew, moving company, haul-away services, the whole 9 yards, and a little bit and that's it.
That's awesome, dude. So guys,
yeah.
I'm going to put these on hybendigital.com/Alex Daredia, and it's DAREDIA. You got a lot of vowels there. DAREDIA. Or of course, if you just go to hybendigital.com, guys, at any time, you can type in Alex, for the next couple of days, he'll be, the one that's right on the top, but you can just type in Alex, it'll show up. And by the way, you can also type in other stuff in there like FSBOs, expireds, just solds, whatever you're looking for, rookies, Bitcoin, whatever you want, type it in there. And any episodes where that's mentioned or used should show up. So So check it out. All his free gifts will be there. I'm also going to put them in the Agent Success Toolbox, which, of course, you can get at hibandigital.com/toolbox. Or you could text the word Toolbox to 444-999, and you'll not only get Alex's three free gifts, but you're going to get over 100 other gifts that all of our guests have brought over time in a giant treasure chest box that you could dip into and use to make 2019 a phenomenal year. Alex, this has been awesome, buddy. Thanks so much. Best of luck to you. If I'm ever in Bakersfield, California, I'll look you up and we will break some bread.
I agree, Pat. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.